Hi everyone, welcome back to a brand new episode of Task 1 Tuesday. Here's a brand new question that we have. You are applying for a job and need a letter of reference. Write a letter to a former teacher. In your letter, give details of the job, explain why it's important to you, and suggest what information your teacher could put in the reference. Okay, so let's get started. First things first, you'll want to address this person. For example, dear Mrs., since it says you need to write to a teacher. So something like that could be male, could be female. That isn't really important. Dear Mrs. Smith, now this is semi-formal. You know this person you had. It's not a personal relationship, but at the same time, they're not a stranger. So that's why this kind of letter would be semi-formal. So you could say, for example, it's been a long time. It has been quite a long time since I've written to you. And today I finally, well, I don't know, that seems a bit opportunistic. So maybe we can say it's been quite a long time since I've written to you. I hope you are doing well. In fact, I had a favor to ask. Why? Because you're asking for a favor, so it makes sense to say, I had a favor to ask of you. You see, I applied for a job, maybe as a teacher's assistant or something like that. Could be anything. You applied for a job as a cook, you applied for a job as a dental assistant, whatever. It really doesn't matter. You could say, for example, applied for a job as a, now it says teacher, not professor. So there's a distinction between teacher and professor. A teacher would be employed in a school, and a professor would be employed at a university. So this job cannot be some kind of super adult job. You know what I mean? It has to be a beginner type job. So you cannot say I applied for a job as a marine biologist or I applied for a job as a systems engineer and I need a reference letter. No, you cannot, because this is just a teacher, somebody who knew you when you were in high school or primary school or middle school. So it has to be a beginner level type job as an assistant teacher at a kindergarten. And you have to give details of the job. So I applied for a job as an assistant teacher at a kindergarten. This position would have me working with children with special needs in a very close-knit environment, which is something I am excited about, or just something I have always wanted to do. You can say, oh, this job is just perfect for me. Plus, it pays really well for a beginner, because again, like I said, it has to be an entry-level job. It cannot be something major. It cannot be something huge. Now, this is 73 words. It is kind of big. There's something wrong with it, but you could pare it down. So, for example, it has been quite a long time since we've talked, we've spoken. You have to use the full form, of course, we have instead of we've. I hope you're doing well. In fact, I had a favor to ask. You see, maybe you can write ask instead of you, because of you would make it a little bit more formal. With the teacher, you kind of, in that space between formal and informal. I applied for a job as an assistant teacher at a kindergarten, working with children with special needs, close-knit environment. I always wanted a job like this. It pays quite well too. Okay, and then explain why it is important to you. As you know, I have a brother with autism spectrum disorder or something like that, and I would take care of him. So this, this kind of niche is right up my alley, is something that would be a good use of my skills. Good use of my skills and my education, because I specialized in early childhood development and specifically children with developmental disorders. There we go. You don't have to write a whole lot, by the way. I hope you know that. So this is, yep, 50 words. It's the perfect length. I would say each paragraph around more or less 50 words is a really good length. You don't need to really write a whole bunch. It's just the bare minimum that they want from you is 150 words. Most people will write around 175, 185. That's it. You don't really need to write tons and tons of stuff. So maybe 2 sentences, 3 sentences, that's it. Not more than that. And if you are writing like 4 or 5 sentences, then either your paragraph is too big, like huge, like 100-word paragraph, or maybe your sentences are too small. They are simple sentences. That can be a problem. So watch out for that. Okay, what's the last thing we need to do? Suggest what information your teacher could put in the reference. Okay. Yeah. Because this job is quite important. It is important that I get this job, or you could say something like that. Now, what information can this person put in the reference? First, let me tell her that I need her to give me a reference letter. So I would like for you to write me a letter of reference if possible, because of course you cannot demand that he or she write a letter of reference. It is something that they decide if they want to do or not. So I would like, I request, right? I would like for you to write me a letter of reference if possible. In this letter, my prospective employers would like to see, a description of my character and personality and my performance as a, would like to see and know more about my performance as a student and your evaluation of me as a person, and your general honest evaluation of me as a person. This is already 51 words, so I don't need anything more than that. That's good enough, because that's what reference letters are for. Your character, your personality, what kind of person you are. Are you good? Are you bad? Are you a good fit for the job, right? Performance and whether I am fit for the job in your opinion. So what I'll do is, because this is getting big, I will remove this. Know more about and know your general honest evaluation of me as a person. There we go. And that's it. That's all of your paragraphs. But of course, we still have a couple things remaining. We need to end this letter with something like, I look forward to from you. You can say, I look forward to hearing from you in the positive sense, or you can also say, I look forward to receiving, I look forward to hopefully, because again, you're hoping. You cannot demand something like this. So I look forward to hopefully receiving a letter of reference, or maybe I can say a reference letter because I have positive reference from you. Yeah, because again, we're just trying to request this. We're not demanding anything. And now, because you know this person, you can end with your sincerely and any kind of first name and last name. Both are important. So don't just write Jamie, because this person may have many students that have been named Jamie. So that's 192 words. And this is our entire letter. Again, you'll see there's not like a ton of content that you need to write, and we're able to do this in less than 10 minutes. So I hope that this video, in fact this entire series of videos, can show you that writing a letter is quite straightforward and easy. You just need the right ideas. And so I hope that this video has given you a bunch of ideas. If you're still struggling with writing, feel free to give me a call or text on the number that you see on your screen. We have courses, we have batches that start every Monday. So don't forget to grab your seat. And until then, I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.